What is up, guys? If you're here on the part 2 right now, you already know what's going down. I am rating more Arsenal maps, and you are watching me get progressively worse at this game. Well, actually, that last part is a lie. If I'm being completely honest, I actually partially regained my skill since recording all these videos, but I am too lazy to re-record all my clips, so you have to wait until I finish this video series to actually see my newly recovered ability. Let's just get right into it because I fear that the longer I think, the lesser I'll actually want to play the game. We're starting off on a good note today with Street Corner, a map that I'd rate a solid 18 out of 20. The map provides a really nicely balanced experience because of the various combat ranges and consistent game flow. The map naturally welcomes beginners because, in my opinion, there aren't too many places where more experienced players can safely camp or exploit spawn areas. The visuals themselves are also very nice. I think that the concept idea came out wonderfully. I like how cohesive the colors are, and also it's not difficult at all to see enemies against the background. Additionally, because of the above ground storefronts and the lower level sewers, many of the altercations aren't just concentrated in one place, which keeps everything moving. This means that the gameplay doesn't become overly repetitive, and it's an overall well-rounded map that can be enjoyed by players of all skill levels. I will say though, that this is a map that consistently causes more lag on my end, so just something to keep in mind for mobile players. So for the next map, I guess you could say the street corner marked the end of the boulevard. That wasn't a good joke, but you know what is? Boulevard, which earns itself a 14 out of 20. The map itself isn't horrible, but again, for a beginner, it could be somewhat intimidating. I find that the map is so big that even more experienced players could end up spending a good chunk of time searching for enemies, only to be taken down by someone who is camping on a longer sightline. The game flow of this map is just way too inconsistent. Some rounds could feel exciting because of equally spaced spawn points and adequate player movement, meanwhile other rounds become slow and boring because the players are naturally too far apart. The map does provide somewhat of a nice array of elevated sniping positions or back routes, but these kind of routes would fly under the radar to anyone that is playing this map for the first time. For what it is, I think that Boulevard has a cute design and an okay-ish color scheme. If anything, it's on the bland side. Moving on from that, we have Hillside, which for beginners provides a bit of a mixed experience. This map earns a 15.5 on the Soggy Sushi scale simply because I find that sometimes verticality plays an extremely important role, even causing disadvantages. The gameplay often revolves around which team is controlling the higher ground. The map design itself is not too complicated and provides a visually relaxed atmosphere, but the number of blind spots and rooftops make enemy positions a little bit more difficult to predict. For new players that aren't familiar with the map, many deaths would come from a frustrating lack of knowledge actually regarding the layout. Additionally, the fact that most of the action comes from the center, the outskirts of the map aren't commonly supervised, making movement patterns highly predictable. You can kind of assume that most people are going to be passing somewhere through the center. Also, the effects of certain weapons like snipers or rifles can vary depending on the actual positioning of a player, so sometimes certain weapon classes feel more difficult than others. Overall, the gameplay lacks the consistency found on stronger Arsenal maps, but still, it's a strong contender. I do say, some of these maps are an absolute assault on beginners, including, well, Assault. Not to be confused with Assalto, this map is one of the least forgiving ones for new players, especially considering the layout and the choke points. In my opinion, it's a low 13 out of 20. That's not coming from anywhere biased, or maybe it is, because personally I also hate this map. More experienced players consistently control higher sightlines, leaving new players to the exposed lower level. The struggle to predict where enemies are staked out is something that even I haven't gotten over, and this creates a very choppy and controlled flow, which leaves players with not much room for opportunity to reposition or to outplay enemies. Also, directly after spawning, it's very common to walk right into the sights of the opposing team, making for a frustrating experience on an already horrible map. The design itself isn't too bad, and as someone who already knows the layout of the map, it's even visually pleasing. But again, due to the uneven combat, many beginners wouldn't even stay alive long enough to see the entire thing. Also, I did lag quite a bit during every single round that I played on this map. Well, it's whatever. At least Aircraft is here to save us now. Starting off with the design, it earns full points on the Soggy Sushi scale. The color scheme and the initial concept are very charming, and opponents are relatively easy to spot. Regarding playability and game flow, it's nearly perfect. The multiple levels of elevation between the shipping containers, the flight deck, and the base level could seem intimidating to a new player, but surprisingly, I think it's a gateway to learning positioning as a beginner. It's not very easy to become lost, even within the maze-like obstacles, and the spawn points are also nicely spread out. The variety within the map keeps the combat action from becoming concentrated in certain choke points, and that keeps the weapon variety balanced. Altogether, it earns an 18.5 out of 20 rating because of its enjoyment as a whole. And lastly, we are going to rank Matrix, a map that is loved by almost all players, and honestly, I can see why. It earns the highest ranking possible, a complete 20. I don't even know where to begin on this map. It checks every box possible for both experienced and novice players. This kind of shines through during the map voting because anytime I try to play this game, this map gets voted at least 3 out of 10 times. The design is fairly simple, with a bright but basic palette consisting of entirely orange and gray boxes. This means that opponents are clearly visible against the clean but well thought out background. Rather than detailed scenery, the highly readable layout makes it easy to understand. There are few visual distractions, directing the focus to the extremely fast-moving game flow. The compact layout keeps players engaged, with every inch of the map consistently in action. The only minor drawback is that the close quarters layout keeps an aggressive atmosphere. However, because the map's movement opportunities are so strong, the multiple escape routes prove valuable. Overall, Matrix is a top-tier map, and it's one of the game's most replayable, and also one of my personal favorites. So that was it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, but even if you didn't, I don't care because you're still watching. These were mostly my unbiased opinion, except for Matrix, which I absolutely love. It even ranked higher than my favorite map of all time, Neon. Anyways, come back for part 3, and we're gonna rank the last 6 public maps of the game.